Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to the Knit Girls. This is episode
41.
41.
I knew something you didn't. I never did the episode numbers, but I wrote the notes today, so haha.
So I'm Leslie, also known as You Don't Call Me Les.
I'm Laura, also known as Lala.
And I have a little headache, so I'm a little, jumbled today.
And it's gonna snow!
It is. It's Snowmageddon.
We're supposed to get 6 to 8 inches here in Mississippi, and the annual snow accumulation for the state of Mississippi is an average of 1 inch per year.
Yeah.
It's not quite like 1 inch, it's like 9/10 of an inch a year. I watched the Weather Channel this morning.
She's got them smarts.
So, well, the Baltimore Ravens game against the Chiefs was a bust out, so I switched over to the Weather Channel instead while I was knitting. So, it's gonna snow, so we gotta make this one a quick one, because I love Leslie, but I don't want to be stuck at Leslie's house for 3 days.
My house isn't clean and tidy enough to have anybody over for 3 days. But yeah, it's not that Laura's not comfortable driving in the snow, but people in Mississippi aren't accustomed to driving in the snow. So it
They
makes
end up in ditches when it rains, and Mississippi is like this. It's flat and straight.
Totally not true. There are some very indigenous bluffs that only exist in 2 places in the world that are in Mississippi.
Really?
Yeah, they're very hilly. But anyway, that's not...
But not here.
They're about 15 miles away. But anyhow, so I think we're like 5 minutes in and not a single bit of knitting content yet. So yeah, we're going to make this one kind of a quick one so that Laura can get home safely. They will probably close schools tomorrow because of the snow.
I'm hoping for Tuesday too.
The roads and even the tires sold down here aren't built for snow because we don't get enough of it. So.
They don't have plows, those of you from up north, they don't have plows, they don't have the salt that we're accustomed to. They spray a liquid salt on the roads because they're used to ice, so that keeps it from icing over, but when you get a snowfall accumulation, that doesn't do crap.
And the liquid salt is an improvement from a couple of years ago when it was gravel.
Yeah. When I first moved down here, it was sand and gravel, so that's what they put down.
Anyhow, so...
And they'll still do that in some bridges and stuff.
The school will be closed, probably.
Oh, yeah.
If it snows, school will be closed.
Yeah,
so.
and right now they're saying 100% chance. Yeah.
So if you hear pounding and doors closing, Mr. Awesome is also like a weather nut.
He's a storm chaser.
And there's a chance of thunder snow, and that's like a big deal, apparently. So he's up and down, in and out. So I apologize for the noise. So anyway, knitting content. We'll go ahead and get to the knitting content. So I have 2 things. I actually have 2 things on the needles.
And I have one. One that I can talk about. I have more than one.
So I showed y'all last week what I had started on, which was Claudia's stripy socks. And I finished one of them, and the ends are woven in, but they're not trimmed, and it's
That's
not been
super
blocked.
cute. Did you do an afterthought heel on
I
that?
did. So this is the sock she wears. According to her project page, the pair of socks she knit for herself, she wears a size 40 Euro, which is a 9 US. So it's basically my size.
That's cute.
So what I did, it took a little bit of mathematicianness to get this to work perfectly. Here, I'm going to get my sock blocker so I can show y'all. But, so what I did was, when I have done afterthought heels before, I split it right between the colors. This time I didn't do that. I split it right in the middle of the purple. I had my little lace yarn in.
I like that a lot.
And I stole this idea from Karen of Round the Twist, again, because she did this on her, the Halloween socks that she did. So...
From Twist and Lemon.
Yes. So that's what I did on this one. And I'm not going to lie, the fact that it begins with purple, ends with purple, ends with purple, makes the OCD in me very happy.
It looks cute.
I had to do a little bit of wrangling to make that work, but I did. So, sock number 1 done. Sock number 2 has not even been cast on because I got bit by the design bug earlier this week and absolutely had to cast this thing on to try to get the details worked out. So, I haven't finished the prototype yet. I'm close, but I haven't finished. I ran out of yarn, so what I ended up having to do was painfully pick out 300 stitches on the cast on edge to use those stitches on the... Anyway, I'll show you.
You're recycling yarn.
I am recycling yarn, and it's hand spun, hand dyed, which I don't recommend ripping if you can avoid it. So it's a little shawlette, and this is the red that I dyed at Tempted Estates in the summer. And it's just designed to be sort of crescent moon shaped, which you can't see right now because it's not blocked, but it's worked from the top down with short rows. And then there's this little lace edging that's an applied lace edging. It's very simple. It's the Ivy pattern from Barbara Walker collection, and it's doubled on the side. So it's an applied-on edging. I ran out of yarn with that much left to go. So like I said, I have ripped out the cast-on edge, which is okay because I did it all in stockinette, so it rolled a little bit more than I expected it to. So I'll be able to, I put in a lifeline about 5 rows down. You can see that purple. And then I ripped out the cast-on edge, so I've got this bunch of curly yarn.
A lot of yarn.
Yeah, and it's curling on itself a lot because it's hand spun. So I'll use that. I'll just knit directly from the cast-on edge onto this, the edging, and then I'll rip down what's left to the lifeline, and I'll either do a moss stitch or a garter stitch. I haven't decided yet. So that's it. You can see where I've ripped it, and it'll come out. Well, it's sticky because it's hand spun, but it'll just pop right off, and I'll just knit directly from the top onto the edging.
Cool.
And I don't know, I'll have to test knit it. I'll have to have a few people test knit it, and then I'll put it out as a pattern. Probably next month or later this month, we'll see.
Cool. I volunteered to test knit it.
She did.
Because I'm excited. I think it'll be a fun one.
I've
And that'll
test knit a
count
few
towards
of
my
Laura's
11
things.
shawls, yes.
That's true.
Yep.
You and Becky are both doing the 11 shawls thing.
Yep. I suppose I should start my first shawl. I started a shawl. I started we talked about the one last week, the
Mountain,
Ridge.
Kira Mountain something.
Ridge, that Becky and I were going to do together. And I tried like...
Kira Mountain Ridge, there.
Yeah, I tried like 6 different color combinations, and I didn't like any of them. And then I was like, that's kind of like my Nora shawl, and I already have one of those, so I think I'm going to skip on that. Sorry, Beck. And start something new. Surprise! So, I got caught by the sweater bug this week. It's actually been over the course of 2 weeks, and I've been like slowly resisting it, but then I'll go like over to my bookshelf and I'll pull off a book with sweater designs, and I'll be like, ooh, I really like that. And Kirsten Kapoor of Through the Loops released a new sweater pattern yesterday called Washington Square, and I've been looking at her Acer cardigan for a couple weeks now thinking, ooh, I should start that. And this one is just so pretty and perfect. I'll link it in the show notes. I do have a copy with me, but my printer's almost out of ink, so the picture's not super awesome, but I'll pull it out for y'all anyway. Let me get to the end of this row. It's 190 is the amount of stitches that I had to cast on for my size. So,
Laura,
getting to the end of the row.
the most important thing, Laura knit a swatch.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about my swatch in a second. So it's this pattern. And I do prep work with sweaters because they're such a big endeavor for me. So I knit a swatch. It's down here. And I did it, the suggested gauge for this sweater is 18 stitches by 29 rows equals 4 inches and knit 3 purl 1 ribbing. So I actually cast on double that, which would be 18 times 2 is what, 36? And did the row amounts. So my swatch actually came out the 8 inches that it's supposed to be. It's kind of important to do bigger swatches in my opinion, because if I look at this and measure it, it's 3 stitches to the inch. Or 4 stitches to the inch which would be 16, but over the course of the whole thing, because it's ribbing, it brings it in, so it is actually 8 inches. So if I had just done like cast on, 8 and done it, it wouldn't have worked.
And then ripped it out and started knitting a sweater, which is what most people do.
It wouldn't have worked. It would have been like a hot mess. Well, I would have thought that I would have had to go down. I like the drape of this swatch, so I decided to keep with the size 8s. My this way is much larger than 4 inches, but I read through the pattern and it's not done by row 1, row 2, row 3, it's done by inches. Except for the yoke. So I'm going to go back and look at Elizabeth Zimmerman's suggestions for yoke size through her percentage system and double check that and make sure it'll work with this. I love this pattern. I went through and highlighted everything for my size. I also went through on the schematic and I'm not going to show it to y'all because I don't want to break copyright, and added up, did some more math, and did a bunch of stuff. But you can tell that I'm an English teacher or a librarian because I write notes as I read, which is something that good readers typically do. they question and write in it, so I had to take a literacy thing this week. But, like, when I got to the part with the yoke, I was like, look up easy yoke depth before repeats.
The fact that you're reading the pattern first is
I've read
something.
the pattern like 4 times, and it's a really well-written pattern, so I'm very excited about that. I also slipped some other patterns into her card at the same time. So now I have lots of through the loops patterns, more than I had before, and that
You know
makes
what's
me
funny
happy.
is I had never, I don't believe I had ever heard of her until you started doing the mystery sock this year.
Oh, really?
And I went and looked at all her patterns, and she actually has a lot that I like a lot.
I did the mystery sock last year, too.
I guess I wasn't paying attention. Or I didn't pay attention to the designer, probably.
Maybe.
Was at that point, but with the show notes and everything, I had clicked it, and then I looked through her designs, and I liked a lot of them. So.
Yeah, she's got, like, Thorpe is one of hers, the hat that I did, that I'm wearing in
You
the
know what?
Arkansas
No, it was the
Flowers
Moody
Extravaganza.
Kerchief, I think, that turned me
Okay.
on to her. I think that's what it was. And we've got so many people who have done Moody Kerchiefs.
It's a great pattern.
And we have one person who's done like 3 or 4.
Yes.
Julie Blue, or I don't, Julie Blue, I think, I can't remember.
But yes, and I've actually set aside 2 skeins of yarn for my next one.
I probably will do one at some point this year because it's a nice comfort piece, I think, and it looks nice and hand spun. And there aren't a lot of patterns, I think, that look nice and hand spun. So.
I agree. And Lisa, even the non-hand spun ones look gorgeous.
I like Lisa's as well.
So there's all that. What have you finished?
3.
How about I go while you
go
count?
ahead.
Alright, so I finished 2 things this week. The beret that I'm wearing.
And did you cast that on this morning?
I was in the shower and I was like, you know, I wonder if I do this with this, and so I designed it and knit it this morning.
So that's another one for your design for the year.
I have to, it's out of Malibu.
Did you knit it inside out, since there's so much
No, I didn't
reverse
actually.
stocking out?
But when I got halfway through, I thought to myself, man, I should have knit this inside out.
You should take it off and show,
But,
because they probably can't see.
Yeah. It's just a little simple beret. It's Malibu bulky. They're not super bulky, not their Rasta, but they're chunky, I guess is what it is. So 1 skein, it used almost all of 1 skein. It's a pretty simple twisted stitch pattern. And it went really, really fast. By halftime of the Ravens game, I had finished it. And I cast on not too far in front of there, so easy peasy pumpkin pie. It'll be a freebie because really I thought it up in the shower. So it wasn't like a whole lot of effort went through on my part. And actually I only had to rip back like 1 row once, so on the decreases. So it actually worked out really well and really quickly.
So the lesson here, Laura's design, win. Leslie's design, not so much.
That's not true at all. I've run out of yarn and crazy stuff before too. It's just this one was serendipitous.
I like the color of that very much.
It matches my paper mitts that you made me, so
Aww.
that's really why I started out. Well, I was going through my stash yesterday because I wanted all the wool miles in one place. So I reorganized. Well, our local yarn shop had magazines, older copies of magazines for $1. So I pulled out, and I thought I needed some, and I actually ended up buying seconds, but we have a good cause that they're going to. So I was organizing my magazines, trying to figure out what numbers of what I needed, and I stumbled upon a skein of wool miza that was kind of like shoved down in.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is that doing there? And then I had to reorganize the whole small bookshelf that has a little tiny shelf that's perfect for yarn. So all the wool miza but 1 skein can fit there. And that just means I need to knit with some of my wool miza.
I was actually wearing my wool miza socks earlier this week, my knit pearl socks. And I just love the way that the stitch definition on those is amazing. I just need to knit with more of it. I just have so much fantastic yarn that I hate to stick with one dyer only, you know?
Yep. So I pulled that out, and I pulled out my twisted, and I'm going to start using the twisted for the year of stash socks. I think they're going to do like a stockinette sock every month, so I think that's going to be what I do those out of for the most part. That and some twisted, some Vesper, some 3U, some other stuff. So.
Do you have any other FOs?
I do. I finished the Diamond Gansey socks.
These are for Mama, right?
These are for Mama Linneman for birthday next year, and they're done. They're going into the long-range planning box. So Grandma and Mama Linneman for birthdays for the coming year, done.
I think that you definitely deserve to cast on a sweater for you then.
Yes. And I'm selfish, so I deserve to do whatever I want.
There's that.
January is selfish knitting month.
I still have obligations to people that I haven't.
I do too. I mean, I still have to, designing a sock club sock as we speak. That's one of the secret projects, and I have some obligations for the podcast, but they're pretty easy.
So one day I'll have time for me knitting again. Although the design is technically me knitting, but the shawl itself is actually a gift for somebody else. But the design, I'll knit another one for me because I'll have to test it. But anyway,
that would be pretty out of Volmiza.
It would. It would have nice, and actually would probably take about that amount of yarn because this lace. Well, I said it was lace. It's really probably closer to fingering, but it's 530 yards, and I really didn't think I was going to need that much for a shawlette, and I was wrong. So anyhow, I don't have any FOs that I've actually worked on this week. The only FO I have is the batik shawl, which is by Kitten and Figaro, I think is how you say her name, on Ravelry. And this was knit from Lynn Zim's hand spun that I won in her Denver Oyster
I love
fundraiser.
how there's little flecks of blue in there.
Yeah, there are. It's mostly purples, but there are little flashes of blue. I blocked it after the podcast last week, so I haven't trimmed the edges. So
that is super pretty.
this is this is the largest size, and it probably used about 650, 675 yards. But I was a little bit concerned that the hand spun wouldn't show the definition enough because there are natural variations in the colors. But I think it actually turned out really nice.
I love it.
So,
if you don't like it, I will take it off your hands.
It's huge and it's lovely, and I'll just smack you in the face. But it's with Lynn's hand spun, so it's cool. But
okay.
Anyway, I like it a lot. I really like the natural striping that it did from Lynn spinning it. So, and it has
very pretty.
Some nice scallop edging on the ends. So.
How long total did that take you to knit?
I knit it while you were on your trip, so I think about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks altogether.
I was only gone 5 days.
Right, but I cast it on, and then I cast it on before you left, but I didn't finish it until you got back. I want to say a week and a half, 2 weeks maybe. It's
That's
in my
not bad at all.
Ravelry projects.
It's
it
really
says exactly.
pretty.
So anyway, I
it
love
would
it.
really be perfect for the Loopy U. If you're looking for a Loopy U quarterly project, because it does have the cables.
I might enter it in
the fair.
The fair, although I'm not certain I'm going to enter anything in the fair. But if I do enter a hand spun item, it'll probably be this.
That's gorgeous.
Even though I didn't. Well, actually, I don't know if I can because I didn't spin it. But anyway, this is from Lynn's hand spun, and I loves it, and it's beautiful. And it's done, and it's blocked.
Yay!
So.
Perfection.
I'm happy with it. Let's see, what's next?
Spinning. I started spinning a bat that I haven't shown y'all, but it sheds and it needs to be out of my stash because part of my cleaning this week, I was like, that bat is getting everywhere, and I just decided, I made the executive decision to switch from the CJ Kopak to the bat that sheds. That's its official name.
The bat that sheds.
The bat that sheds. So it is out of the stash and no longer shedding.
What type of fiber is it?
It's a combination of everything under the sun, which is why it's shedding. It's got some soy silk and some silk and some sheep's wool of some kind and mohair and all sorts of different stuff. That's why it's shedding everywhere and it needs to leave the stash. Because it's sharing its love with others.
Sharing is not permitted.
No. Stash growth by baby stash monsters is not permitted.
So speaking of babies.
Yes, Molly's here.
Our
Yay!
friend Alicia, who is the other L of the Knit Girls, she had her baby Molly today at about, I don't know the exact birth time, sometime around 2:30. And she's a fat baby. She's 8 pounds 10 ounces. And
she's a chubby little monster.
She is, but she's beautiful. So we wanted to say congratulations to Alicia.
Yay!
And to Nick. And baby Molly, and she looks healthy and everything, so they should be headed home in the next day or so. So that's baby news.
It is.
Unless Laura decides to have a baby.
Thanks for asking that. I had someone ask me if I was pregnant this week, so
that's
that
fun.
was super fun. I was at the knit shop and I'm going to sample knit a baby vest for them out of some lovely, lovely yarn. And the woman hadn't met me before, otherwise she would know my dislike of offspring. And she asked me if that was for my child that I was going to have and when the due date was. And that's okay. Because I'm not actually going to have a child. So that makes me feel
okay,
better.
Slam. Okay, so...
I have Christmas presents.
Oh, you do? Yes.
Yes.
You should go through your Christmas presents so I can knit.
Okay.
Not that podcasting isn't important or anything, but...
I got a lovely steampunk bracelet from our friend Lisa, who's the Lacy Sock Monkey on Ravelry. She made it just for me.
It is steampunk-graphic.
It's steampunk-graphic and likes to jingle, and it's fun. And it's really heavy. I could take out a 6th grader with it, I think. I needed to, but it's awesome.
Yeah, I like
It's got a little book.
Stuff.
It's so sweet. And I got an iPod Touch for Christmas, which actually has...
She's going to show you one of her favorite applications on this thing.
Maybe. We have the podcasters list for keeping a real camp up right now, but let me take it. Some of the apps that I immediately downloaded: Angry Birds Seasonal, Netflix, Pandora, Cut the Rope, which is actually, I kind of like it better than Angry Birds. It's sacrilege, I know. Facebook, Flickr, Plurk, of course, and then my favorite app ever. I have to wait for it to come up. It makes me so excited. Hey guys. It's a little hamster that talks.
It's smack talk.
It's a little hamster that talks.
And we discovered this when we were with Stacy of Tempted at the Arkansas Fiber Arts Retreat Extravaganza. She had it on her iPad.
Yep. I also got some knitting related apps. I got the I Spin Toolkit, which is really, really cool. I got Knitminder Lite, which is a free stitch counter app, and I also got Knitting Help, which has, for $5, you get all of the Knitting Help video reference library. So that's kind of cool. So if I forget how to do a provisional cast on or something else, I can just go in there, look it up, and check it out. I also got Kindle, some other cool stuff. So that's about it for me for apps. It was really nice when I was traveling because I listened to podcasts. I listened to Knitting Pipeline, and I watched Karen from Round the Twist, and I also listened to Yarngasm, who I'd never heard of before, but she's one that pops up if you go on iTunes under like Neighbors of Us, so I was checking her out and I really like her. I think I'm going to listen to her. It's also helpful today because I downloaded the weather app so I can keep up with the weather. So my winter storm weather advisories, which tells me to keep an extra flashlight, food, and water in my vehicle in case of emergency. Travel is dangerous, that's what it says. But anyway, and it lives in its little home, which is a bag that's
Seashore Sharon?
Yeah, Sharon made for us and gave to us at the fling. So this is the perfect size for it, and that is where it lives. I should take it back out because we have to talk about podcasts in a little bit. But anyway, I got that and lots of iTunes gift cards to go with it. So it's been super fun, and I'm really enjoying it. I enjoy plurking from everywhere too, and taking photos, because it's got a camera in the front and a camera in the back. So it's lots of fun, and it's prohibiting me from getting any work done.
It really is.
Last night I played Angry Birds at Leslie's house.
At my house, and we were knitting, and you were knitting on a sock last night?
A secret sock.
And normally, if she's here for 3 hours, and she can get 2 or 3 inches done on it. That didn't happen last night because she kept going back and forth on different applications and looking stuff up, and
I was playing. I also got a cool video game that Kobe and I have been enjoying a whole lot for the Wii. It is it's based on Clue, and it's by Disney. Guilty Party, and Kobe and I have been enjoying that a whole lot. I got that from Mom, and I'm not a huge video game person. Like, I play stuff for the Wii, basically.
Yeah, it's not like MMOR whatever. It's like goofy Mario type stuff.
Yeah,
it's not like
it's typical Wii
games.
Clue type
Yeah.
short role player that Kobe and I can get out with me yelling at him for a minimum amount of time.
Click the fuck.
I do not say that.
No.
I do say, don't go in my room. That's my room. Go into a different room. Find a Clue over there. So, I got the iPod, I got lots of gift cards to go with it, I got my cool video game, and I also got a lovely dragon necklace from my sister. It's one of the stick people. He's wee, and his name's Charlie. So, I wear him all the time, and he's my new favorite necklace. So he's a wee dragon. I'll link where you can get cool jewelry from them, the stick figure people, in the show notes, but I love him, so... He's the cool thing I got from my sister, because my sister is cool and gets me stuff on Etsy, and I love it. So, it's very nice.
Sorry.
Although I've had lots of fun with my gift cards, too.
I'll bet you have.
My boss at the yarn shop got me a Starbucks gift card, and it's been lots of fun. And I've obviously enjoyed playing with my iPod, so all my iPod gift cards were lots of fun, too. Anything that you would like to discuss today? Is it going to be the Laura show?
So I had somebody ask me in last week's comments about the Master Knitter program and why I'm doing it, and I kind of wish I had like a very philosophical answer, but the truth is I just want to be able to say I'm a Master Knitter. That's the only reason, to be totally honest. I just want to be able to say, yeah, I'm a Master Knitter. I've got the certificate and everything. So it's just because I'm odd. So
Becky's doing it as part of her coursework
She
for
is.
her master's. She did an independent study, and she's doing it as the Master Knitters.
So she's doing it for a valid reason.
A better than you reason.
So that's really the only reason that I'm doing it. I also wanted to talk about on our group, Lisa and Patricia, so Lazy Sock Monkey and P. Hobbs, P. Hobbs 1 I think, are doing hosting a small shawl/kerchief exchange. So it's
And
like
we
a
both
swap.
signed up,
Yes.
so it'll be fun.
Basically, it's just you sign up by Wednesday, January the 12th. So from the date of recording, that's 3 days, and you knit a shawl for another person. You have 2 months to ship it out, so it's due to ship out on March the 16th.
Which is right before my birthday.
Yes, it is. Her 30th birthday.
Which is on the 30th of March.
So, I don't know about extras or any of that stuff, or the total.
Extras are up to you. If you want to add
Okay.
extras, you're an awesome person and we love you, but there's no obligation at all to add extras. It's just the yarn. If you have leftovers of the yarn, I would probably send that way just in
For
case it
repairs.
gets snagged or something else.
And the yarn cost should be between $15 and $25, and the reason that that was set up that way was just so that everybody gets a comparable item, so that nobody gets like a red heart scarf, or shawl.
Yeah.
So if you're interested in it, it's very low-key and easygoing. You can hop on over to the Knit Girls group on Ravelry and sign up. Just make sure that you do so before the 12th of January.
Speaking of the Knit Girls group, we have over 700 people in our group
We do.
now.
As of this morning, we had 702 people in our group, and that is up 30 from last week. So if you're a new person, I'm curious. I'm thrilled that we have so many new people, but I don't know where they're coming from. So if you're a new person, pop in and tell us where you came from. We have had a few people come into
Yeah,
the Spill the Beans
definitely.
group and tell us that they found us
We've
on
had
like
some
the Year of
lurkers,
Stash
yeah.
socks or other things. So we want to welcome
That's
everybody.
so cool. Oh, speaking of your stash socks, so I was over there posting about my socks that I'm doing, and that are kind of secret. You all will see them later. And
They're kind of secretly. We'll see them later.
well, in a couple weeks. But one of the ladies was like, "I met you at Arkansas," and I was like, "Really?" It's such a small world on Ravelry. It's so
Yeah.
much fun. I love seeing people from different groups.
And I never go to the knit shop because I'm antisocial like that. Oh, that was in the thread. Never mind. Oh, I'm
This
actually
was
to
in
the point where I'm
the
pulling
Year of
from.
Stash Socks thread.
That's what I
Yeah.
admitted that a second ago that I totally got that wrong. Yep, not paying attention. Sorry, focusing on this. Ooh, I've got it.
I got a present from Darth Knitter.
You did, and so did I.
It's so awesome. I really want to cast it on like right away. So I've been really, really, really wanting. I have a lot of
Really?
Vesper. And I was missing one colorway for my collection for it to be complete.
I can just see you petting my pretty.
Now, there's some colorways that I just don't care for, but this is one that was a 4-stripe exclusive colorway for February of last year called Kissy Face, and I've been hunting for it for a while and had posted in the In Search of thread and couldn't find any, and Darth Knitter who's Tammy, managed to score one, and she sent it to me, and it's so sweet, and thank you for thinking of me, sweetheart. And she's got a wonderful podcast as well. We'll have to put her links and stuff in the show notes, but it's just so exciting.
She sent a present to me too.
I've got a new present, and it makes me happy.
Mine is fiber, and I appreciate it. I didn't expect anything, considering it was something for Laura, but
it really is the Laura show today.
So I got 2 braids of
That's really pretty.
Gail's Art, which is a 70% alpaca, 30% silk. Colorway is Gumball. So it's a lot of different colors, but they're all sort of muted, so they should blend together really well. So I got 4 ounces total of it, so I should be able to do something really nice out of it. So thank you, Tammy.
It's really pretty.
Her podcast is Proverbial Knitter now, right? Because she's not doing the other one anymore. She started a new one.
She did start a new one.
I think it's Proverbial Knitter.
It's a Christian podcast, and I listened to the first one, but I can't remember the name. I'm so horrible with names.
I think it's Proverbial Knitter, but anyway, we'll link her.
Anyone who's ever met me in real life knows I'm horrible with names and faces and such like that.
I just blame it on having a kid and him sucking my brains out. So you don't have that excuse. So we've talked about that. And
I think you should talk about the Keeping It Real camp.
So we talked about the Camp Kip a couple of weeks ago. I don't think it was last week. I think it was the one before. So Jackie from the Keeping It Real podcast decided to host a little retreat at Pear Marquette, which is, I don't remember the town name, but it's about 40 minutes outside of St. Louis. And it's kind of a lodgy sort of feel. And she has gotten, the camp has been filling up pretty well, and I think that there are only, as of yesterday, there were 15 spots left. I don't know how many there are today.
And a few day passes as well.
And the new thing that she just announced is that there's going to be day passes, and it's going to be for Friday the 8th, because the camp is April the 6th through April the 9th. Total cost for the camp, I think, is $275. If you want a day pass for that Friday, it's $75, and it's 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., and that includes all your meals, and you get a goodie bag just like all the rest of the campers, which I think is sweet.
Yes.
Because she's really ramping up to do some really good goodie bags.
She's Jackie, and she always does awesome stuff.
She's been telling me a few of the things that she's working on for the goodie bag, so it's going to be awesome. And she's also doing this really cool thing that's a scholarship. So basically, she's trying to be able to get one person who can't afford to come essentially for free. But in order to enter, you have to, it's a $5 increment. So you PayPal, there's all these directions are on her site, campkip.com. But it's basically $5 an entry, and then she'll announce the winner of the scholarship. I don't know. I think it's like the 15th or 16th
It's
of February.
the day after the
Registrations are
close,
due.
yeah.
So, that it'll cover your whole camp cost if you win the scholarship, but not your travel too. So you'll still have to cover your travel, but she'll cover the
So
cost
if
of
you're
the camp.
more in that area or within like a 10-hour driving distance, that might be more feasible.
But all the details are on her site, campkip.com. And Laura and I have decided to join the podcasters that are going, because we couldn't do the whole camp. It's just not feasible.
It's not feasible with our work schedules.
But we're very excited that she's doing the day passes, because now that means we get to go. So that makes us happy.
Work permitting.
Yeah, work permitting. And so we wanted to bring up a list of the people who were going to be there as well, the podcasters. There's a bunch of podcasters that are going to be there. So
Megan from Stitch It,
Amy from The Outlier,
Jackie from Keeping It Real,
Shiloh from Spin Control,
Paula from the Knitting Pipeline,
Wendy from Sassy Pants,
Erin from Anatomy of a Knitter,
Jasmine and Gigi from the Knitmore Girls,
Rachel of Knit Sense,
Karen of the Knitwits,
Erin of Brass Needles,
and
now us.
And now us.
So it's going to be super fun.
If you can manage it and you're interested, it is filling up fast, and we do expect it to probably be full by the end of the week, just because there aren't as many spots left. Day passes are a great option for you if you live close enough to drive and just stay there for the day. That's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
So We're very excited about it. We'll have to add it to, we'll have to create a, like, events tab or something on the site to show where we're going to be. But
if you want to stalk us.
like, that's not easy enough already. But, so that's something we're excited about doing. So we'll get to see Jackie, our friend for many years, and we'll get to hang out and meet a bunch of new podcasters as well. So
You said many years, and I was like, I don't think I've known Jackie that long. And then I was like, dude, I've known her since the first fling. That is many years.
And I've known her, actually
You've
met
known
her
her a
through
lot
Alicia
longer, yeah.
many years ago. I think I met her, I started talking to her about 5 years ago, so I don't get to spend
amazing
nearly
how
enough time
fast
with her, so
time
I'm
flies.
excited about that, and excited about meeting all of the even non-podcasters that are going, the regular people that I get to meet.
There's
so.
a list of those people on here too.
So, anyway, that's 3 months away, so
That's so exciting.
we'll be talking about it a little bit more. But like I said, if you want to go, register soon, because I do expect the spots to be pretty full pretty quick.
Epic 1313's going.
Yep.
Yay.
Yep, and there are a few other people that we know that are going.
That's so cool.
Let's see, is that all? There's one big thing we want to talk about. Do your book review.
Okay. So I hadn't done a book review for a while, and I have been looking at sweater books, obsessing, perhaps a tidbit of sweater books, and I was going through my library, and this is an older book that came out a couple of years ago. I'm thinking maybe 2009, 2009 maybe? Let's look. Anyway, 2007. Ooh, that is a little bit ago. Veronik Avery used to publish a lot of designs in Interweave Knits. Solid Peanuts is one of hers. She did a bunch of other stuff. And what's different about this book is it's inspired by different eras in fashion. So it's 35 designs, and they have some kind of fashion archive, some kind of historical significance. And it was really interesting to me because I didn't realize that Veronik Avery was a costume designer and a seamstress before she started even knitting or designing knitwear. And I think that comes across in some of her designs. So for every design, like there's this strawberry lace wrap cardigan, it gives you a little brief history of the wrap cardigan and why it became popular and when it became popular, and some different people behind the popularity movement towards it. So it's really interesting if you're into the history of fashion, if you like history of fashion. And it kind of, she's got the typical like twin set, but then her twin set also has a little bit of intarsia or some kind of modern twist to it. Some things that I really like in here, I like that wrap cardigan a lot. I like that guy's hat just because it's got a hockey background, which was so funny. On New Year's Day, the Pittsburgh Penguins were playing the Capitals, and they were calling, instead of calling their jerseys, they called them sweaters, because originally they were sweaters.
Oh, really? That's neat.
So it's kind of fun. Stuff like that's kind of fun. I really like
She has
the Fair Isle
hers are
sweater.
very classic and workable, I think.
So I like the Fair Isle sweater. Not that it's new or really groundbreaking, but I really like that. It might just be the colors that are calling to me. She's got bicycle socks.
She has nice styling in her books as well, I think.
She does. I think the photography's done really well as well. It's definitely got, this is published by Melanie Fallick's publishing company, STC Craft. And I think all their books really as a whole have a nice styling to them. I really like the obi scarf, which is based off of, I think, Japanese sashes, it said. So there's some really interesting stuff in here, but I also like this book because it's an interesting read, not just for the patterns, but it's more interesting. I like the history of fashion. I like to know where trends come from. So it was very interesting to me. So there's that. It's Knitting Classic Style by Veronik Avery. And you can find a lot of her designs were in the Interweave Best of book.
She
and
just had a book, too,
some
that
past Interweave books.
the Knitmore Girls reviewed, and I can't remember what it was. But it was 2 or 3 episodes ago, because it made me really want to go own that book, because they raved about it. So
I think I have that one. I'll have to
go
look.
back and listen.
I
and
think
see
I
what
have
it
both
was.
her books. Now, if you give me enough time, I'll think of it.
So we have one more thing to talk about. This is the last thing, right?
I think so. Let me
Just
check
to
the
cross things
checklist. Master Knitter, Shawl Kerchief Exchange, Scholarship.
We're so organized with our notes.
Yep.
And they're even legible because Laura wrote them this week. Because my writing is like chicken scratch.
No, it's good.
So, last thing that we have to talk about.
I'm going to look up that thing before because it's going to drive me crazy. Just keep going.
Okay, so we hadn't mentioned this yet, but now we are, because next week our recording schedule will be off, probably. We are going to travel to Oklahoma Friday evening with three of our friends. Tracy, who's also Cat Tragedy. I love that she changed her name from Cat Raggedy to Cat Tragedy. And also Lisa Lazy Sock Monkey and her partner Jack. We are going to drive to it's near Tulsa, to see Stacy of Tempted. And joined there will be Jessica, Show Me Your Knits, Sarah D, Knits.
I'm so excited.
I'm forgetting somebody. Please help me. Oh, Bio Mage 5. That's Laura.
Laura.
Muriel, Stacy's sister, who is BFF of Wendy.
Uh-huh.
Possibly Linda Hitt. I don't know if she's decided for sure or not whether she can make it. There's somebody else that I'm forgetting, and I'm going to feel like a huge jerk. But I can't remember who it is. Muriel's bringing her daughter, so we'll get to meet her. And of course, Bob will be there. Bob will be there with a house full of women, so it's going to be very interesting. Anyway, I'm very stoked about it. We had a really good time when we went there in the summer and just kind of hung out. And I don't plan on bringing my spinning wheel this time just because it's going to be crowded.
Permitting.
And I don't want to take up any more room than I need to. But I plan on just doing nothing and relaxing and spending some time with some people that I really enjoy. And a couple people, I haven't met Laura, Biomage, or Muriel before, so I look forward to hanging out with them.
It's going to be so much fun.
Yeah, we're very excited about it.
She hasn't done any books, but she does the St. Dennis collection that's released
that's what
by
they just
Classic
reviewed.
Elite.
But anyhow, that was the Veronik Avery thing. But, so anyway, we're going to be there Friday evening, Saturday, Sunday, and we leave to come back on Monday. So we may or may not record there. It just depends. I don't want to make any kind of statement saying that we will, and then that may change. Because
we might be having too good of a time
that's what happened last time.
Yeah.
So we are very excited about it. Our schedule will be off next week. We'll post when we know what it's going to be. We may record Monday when we get home. We may not. It just depends. So
depends on a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, we'll Twitter. We may record a couple little short things and put them up. Again, it's all up in there. We'll figure it out.
Jessica so loves being on the camera.
I know.
So. We might make it the Jessica show for the weekend.
I can just see her at her computer going, because she talks to us when she watches us.
I talk to us sometimes. I'm like, slow down. We're going to show notes.
Oh, I'm so off on the count of this thing. So that's all I have this week. I feel like I say a lot. I guess I probably do.
I'm in the rolling chair today, so I've been turning, and I'm sorry, y'all.
I'm steady. So that's all for this week, episode 41. We will record again at some point next weekend.
In the future.
I don't know.
We're so specific.
But hopefully we'll both have some more progress to show you. I bet you'll probably have most of the back of that done.
It's one piece.
Oh, is it? That's good. That's good.
It's actually kind of like the Elizabeth Zimmerman yoke. So it's one piece up to here.
And
then you knit the sleeves, you graft them, and do a yoke.
I want to knit a sweater like that. That was the one. That's the method.
You could knit this one with me.
No.
We could race.
I have too many other things going on right now.
In the meantime, if you miss us, you can find us on Twitter.
Yes.
Lurk. Facebook.
Yes.
Ravelry. And in our Ravelry group.
And on the site, TheKnitGirlls, 3ls.com.
Yep.
I think that's all.
Yeah.
I always feel like there's one more that we're mentioning. Oh, if you haven't, please leave either a star rating or an iTunes review for not just us, but all of your favorite podcasters, because it really does make our day when we get a new review. And that's all that I have.
Maybe we'll post pictures of snow this week.
Assuming that there is any. It might be snowing now. It might have started. We'll see. I can't see any out of my window, but it's kind of dark here. So we will see you guys at some point next week.
All right. Bye, y'all.